All right. What's up, boat gang? Welcome back out here in the shop, Rogala Marine RC, coming at you live, checking back in with some boats, some mail, some motor KV stuff to touch on really quick. I wish today was a boating day, but got to get things ready, and life has been pretty busy lately. So back-to-back interviews, stuff for work, and yeah, just life. So hope you guys are all doing well. I guess right off the rip, let's talk about this hybrid turn fin that Ryan over at Mad Lizard just sent me. He's already sent me the JL, and I had an older hybrid fin. But this is for the UL19. I'll be getting that boat ready again soon. I talked to Steve today over at Offshore Electrics, where I get most of my boating gear. Check them out. You could do ready to runs. You could do your own build. They got everything you need. But he's sending me the right motor. There was a mix-up where I got a 2050 kV instead of a 2300. Sent it back. They're going to send me the right one. So UL19 video will be coming soon. Geico was out last time. I'm just thrilled with how this thing runs. Honestly, super stoked. 4082 Leopard, Firma 160. You guys kind of know the routine on that. But last video out, I told you guys that this boat likes to drift. So I've been trying some different rudder options. So last time out, I had this, which is basically a Speedmaster 1 inch tapered blade. And I'm switching to this Sly Cat. This is a full 1.5 inch wide boy, thick boy blade. 1.5 inch wide. I've cut it so it's a similar length. It was already cut. But yeah, so this will be going on the boat, and this should give quite a bit more steering authority to the back and really kind of keep the drifting. It's always going to be a drifter, but it'll kind of keep it to a minimum. You can see how wide it is versus this is a 1 inch tapered blade, a little bit longer. So this should help immensely. And then I also spoke, this is a TFL strut. I need to cut this waste of material back here and cut the top off eventually. But I did speak about a Skeg strut. So if you guys aren't familiar, this is an RC Boat Bits Skeg strut. You can get different Skeg struts. Speedmaster makes them as well. But basically, I've already ran this on the boat in the past. I've sharpened this edge up. I've also sharpened this rudder leading edge up. And if I'm still getting a lot of slide, a lot of drift, this is a Skeg strut. It's essentially like, imagine a turn fin. So I can throw this on, and the boat is going to have a lot more bite. So almost, I mean, it's not going to be a cheetah, right? Because you're not going to have the bite at the front end, but it would have a lot more steering authority from the back. So I think the wide blade's going to do it. This is as I was saying, Sly Cat Racing. I might have said that wrong. Sly Cat Racing blade. This is a saw version, so if you'll notice, there's no actual water pickups in it. It's a saw specific, which works on this boat because this boat has through hull pickups. Just a side note, I've never ran more than 2 pickups on a boat. I think 2 is probably plenty, so I don't do the whole, 2 in the hole and then 2 out the top, and I think that might be a little overkill. But it's basically a wide blade, and because there's no pickups in it, it's able to be super thin, which is cool, right? So you notice, might be hard to tell, but it's a much thinner blade, so less resistance in the water. It's also a higher grade of aluminum, so it's slightly stronger. And yeah, I think that is going to be a super sweet combo. Next thing, my boy OG Paperboy, as well as a couple other people, have asked me about motor KV, how I'll choose a KV for the voltage and for the RPM. So full disclosure, this is a very wide range, very much a personal preference thing. I'll give you guys an example, right? So here's the math on it. So for the voltage on the packs, I use 3.7. So a fully charged battery is at 4.2 volts per cell. But obviously you've got inefficiencies, right? Most motors are maybe around 90% efficient. And then you've got voltage sag. So typically I'll use 3.7 volts per cell right? So a 6S pack comes out to 22.2, 8S 29.6, and you'll multiply this number by your kV, and that should be roughly, not exactly, your loaded RPM. So typically, if you want to run ovals, keep your temps decent run time, right? You're looking at 30 to 40,000 RPM. It's a wide range. It really depends on the boat. Again, mostly personal preference, right? So don't hold me to this. It differs from boat to boat. So I'll give you an example. So let's say we're using 6S as a voltage. I would say on a 6S boat, you want to be between 1650 at the low end and 2000 would be the very high end of that. I'm not saying you couldn't go higher. I'm not saying you couldn't go lower. But the problem is every boat, every hull is going to have a prop size or roughly size that it likes, right? So if I put a really low kV, I'm going to have to swing a huge prop or a prop with a ton of pitch, and it makes it difficult because then you're needing custom props, oversized props, which can cause issues. So if you have like a specific boat in mind, shoot me a comment. I've been responding to everyone. You guys have been absolutely killing it on the subs and everything like that. Thank you for that. If it's something specific that I can help with, let me know. But I'll give you an example. So on a twin, like a stock Geico, comes with 1900 kV. And for that boat, 1900 to 2000 is probably perfect on 6S, okay, because it's a twin and because it's a catamaran, you're going to be using a little smaller props. You can get away with a little more kV. Something like a mono on 6S, for example, you'd probably want to go closer to 1650, right? Because a mono of all the boat designs is going to have the most amount of drag. The most amount of drag, the most amount of resistance. And so you want a little less kV, right? Whereas a catamaran will be more efficient. A hydroplane will be even more efficient than that. And so as a rough idea, right, maybe 1900 to 2000 for a twin on 6S, maybe on a single V hull, like my Lizard, for example, maybe something closer to 30,000 RPM or 1650 on 6S. My Lizard's on a 2200 on 4S. So remember, you got to do the math, right, for your voltage, but I'm using 6S because that's fairly easy way to start. This is a 1450 kV on 8S. So you can do the conversion. I think it's maybe 1800 or 1900 on 6S. It's spicy. It's a little spicy. But again, you're picking props based on the size. You're picking kV based on the size of prop that you want to run and roughly the speed that you're trying to go, right? So if I'm building a boat and I know I want to do 70, 80 miles an hour, right? I'm going to have to get spicy with the kV, right? Even if it's not the most efficient, I'm either going to have to run very pitchy, larger props, or if I already know, hey, I want this boat to be fast as hell, I'll probably just go up in kV, because the trick is you want to be able to use a lot of the props you already have, right? You don't want to have to be buying new props for each boat. And after a while, you get a collection of props that all like a certain amount of kV, and then you tend to kind of stick with that. So again, anything specific, hit me up. Hopefully I can help. Also wanted to show you guys these awesome ESCs all the way from Texas. I'll zoom you in there. That my buddy Alex, he made these coolers custom. They're absolutely beautiful. I did a short on them. And based on the way that the cap packs are going, I'll probably have to run them staggered like this. So I'm going to get them soldered up, get them thrown in the boat, and this bad girl is ready to go do 75, 80 miles an hour. Absolutely terrifying. And back in business after that little scare, that little fire we had. So these are Mamba Monster 2 Retros. And these are a decent option. They are limited to 6S, so that's important to know. and they do not have data logging. So they are a more cost-effective option. I want to say they were $140 each with a custom cooler that will need to be made. I did not make the coolers. My buddy Alex made those. So you might have to source that, excuse me, source that somewhere or figure out how to make one. It's essentially a block of aluminum drilled out into a U shape with extra large cooling nipples. And it's, I believe, epoxy directly onto the MOSFETs or the board or whatever. And that's a more cost-effective way to do it. This boat is on 6S per side. It's a twin, only 36 inches. So it definitely didn't need X8Ss, right? These ESCs are very, very stout. They will be more than enough for whatever this boat can handle and save me a bunch of money, right? Because these are 140. X8S is, what, 275 each, right? So it was a cost-effective way to go, and I've got Castle, so probably never going to have to worry about this boat again. This boat, I did do great because that will hopefully give a little more steering control. And so, yep, just a quick shop rundown, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Next video will be out at the lake. We're going to be running, I think tomorrow, we're going to run them both. We're going to try this one with the wide rudder, and we're going to run that one for the first time in a while. We'll get some speeds. We already know this one is like low 70s. This one's mid to high 70s for sure. Different props to test. UL19 will be back soon. So yeah, guys, if you're not subscribed, please consider it. This is what we do. It's all boats all the time. Trying to get as many running videos as I can for you guys and keep them somewhat informative. Like I said, this is kind of like a rough thing. There's a lot of ways to do it. Everyone's going to have different methods, different KVs. We're all kind of learning from each other. And so, yeah, anything specific, maybe comment down below and maybe myself or someone else can help throw out some ideas. But I think that's a wrap for this one. I've been rambling long enough. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.